It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. I've been running this channel now for 14 years, and there's some beers that you look at on websites to order and you think, I'm bound to have reviewed that over the 14 years. Well, this is one of them. Erdinger's Kristall Weissbier. I was absolutely convinced that I'd reviewed this beer on YouTube. Turns out I hadn't. Kristall Weissbier, this is 5.3% ABV, 500 milliliter bottle, dark brown bottle with the Erdinger Kristall bottle cap. Got that lovely, where they recycle the glass in Germany. This has obviously been on a roller a number of times. You can see the etching in the glass, and that's because they clean their bottles in Germany and they reuse them. Let's get this beer out into a glass and see what we get. Nice bit of smoke on the bottle opening. So, Kristall Weiss, what is it? Well, I'm going to put it quite simply to you. This is Weissbier for people who don't like cloudy beer. It has all, or not all, no it doesn't have all of the hallmarks of a Weissbier, it doesn't. I find Kristall Weisses to be definitely more refreshing beers. No, let me rephrase that, because a Weissbier is incredibly refreshing. They're crisper, they're slightly cleaner, they're more leaning towards lager mouthfeel. So beer in the glass, we've got a 4-finger white head, good levels of carbonation. A light amber coloured beer that's very clear. It's a Kristall Weissbier. You can pick up this beer if you would like to at our channel sponsors beersofeurope.co.uk. Beers of Europe, the largest online beer store in the UK, with a fabulous, fabulous range of beers from all around the world. If you've worked away, if you've been on holiday to a wonderful place and you were drinking wonderful beer and you want to find that beer back in the UK that you were drinking, the best place to find it is beersofeurope.co.uk. Fantastic website. There's a link in the description box of the video. Pardon me. Right. There we go. There's a full glass of beer for you. It looks pretty decent, doesn't it? Let's get the aroma on the beer then. It smells pretty good, this. It's got all that kind of banana, clove, spices, pepperiness coming through. It's almost like a coriander. You definitely get the wheat too. So they obviously brew a Weissbier and then they just filter it out. Filter all of that, what I would call goodness, away. Let's dive in then. Cheers, everybody. That little bit of a cold, pardon me. You might hear me a little bit like breathing through my nose and mouth a little bit louder than I usually do. That is fantastic beer. Nicely carbonated. Carbonation pushes the beer around the inside of the mouth, releases more of that flavour. It's biscuity, it's slightly bready, it's wheaty, it's malty, it's rather lovely. That then gives way to, you're almost very tempted to kind of like, because of course a lot of beers are flavoured from hops. You're almost very tempted to when you talk about a Weissbier, when you talk about any beer, it's almost like you go from the, I nearly went very quickly then from the malt and the wheat to talking about how hoppy the beer is, but it's not. It's not. A lot of the flavour, not all of the flavour, but a lot of the flavour from a Weissbier comes from the wheat, the wheat and the yeast. The wheat and the yeast in the beer. They use a special yeast strain with Weissbier that gives off esters of clove, banana, pepperiness, spiciness. That's probably got something to do with the hops as well, that kind of peppery spiciness. But it's such a fantastic blend of combinations of flavour that it just works fantastically well. It starts off with this lovely creamy, rich mouthfeel, but being a Kristall Weissbier, at the same time, it's this one's quite clean and crisp. Carbonation pushes the beer on the inside of the mouth, releases more of the flavour. They've managed to brew this though. I've had some Kristall Weissbiers that have been super crispy. What Erdinger have managed to do here is that they've held on to that slight kind of richness of a Weissbier, that slight creaminess, and that's quite impressive. That's quite an impressive thing to do. So you've got all the hallmarks then of a rich, creamy Weissbier, but for the people who drink with their eyes, they get to drink a clean Weissbier. Now, there are a lot of people out there. I used to be a bar manager in a pub, and if you poured somebody a cloudy beer in the pub, they would return it. And I mean, this day and age, there's a lot of people who drink cloudy beer. They kind of understand it a bit more, don't they? But there is a large population of people who will not. They will not drink cloudy beer, and that's all of the flavour. All of the flavour is in that cloudiness. When you're cleaning a beer up, you will lose a little bit. You will lose a little bit of that kind of loveliness in the beer. But again, what's really impressive about this Erdinger Weissbier is that it hasn't lost any of that kind of rich creaminess. Lovely carbonation, lovely mouthfeel, lovely wheat to begin with, peppery, spicy on the back end, clove and banana from the yeast in the beer. It's a lovely Weissbier. I didn't really know what to expect from this beer. I really didn't know what was kind of coming my way. I didn't really know if I was going to really like it, but no, I really do. I really do like this beer. So my rating then, I'm really impressed with this. It's a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.